Hello, welcome to Leominster Access Television. My name is Jack Celli, and I'm the director of the LTV Center for Archival Media Preservation. And today we have a very special presentation for you. This is one that was quite a challenge and something that came about in a whim. A couple years ago, a gentleman by the name of Gary Saucier came in with a reel-to-reel tape recorder from 1969. It was a 1969 recording his father made from a radio broadcast of the Leominster-Fitchburg Thanksgiving game of 1969. Now that game had a very special place in my memory, as it was the game where Leominster was a huge underdog. Fitchburg had an undefeated season. They were 8-0 coming into the game. They had a great quarterback by the name of Alan Glennie. They had the Boudreau twins, great running backs, Mike Pucko, many others, a really high-quality team. Leominster, on the other hand, had a small team, but they were really ready for the game. And it was one of the greatest upsets in the history of the Thanksgiving rivalry. I remember being at that game with my father, standing in the end zone and watching Leominster trounce Fitchburg by a score of 40-18. Well, anyway, to get to the crux of the matter here, with that audio tape, I had this idea of synchronizing the footage we had with the audio tape, so it would almost be like watching the game, like you watch a football game today. The difference being that the film that was shot back in 1969 was shot strictly as an analytical tool for the teams to watch the games and study what they did right, what they did wrong, study their opponents. And the way it was done was the play or the film was started at the beginning of the play, and it was abruptly ended at the end of the play, which left us no room in between the plays, huddles, breaking for huddles, crowds, etc., etc. So basically it was an analytical film that I wanted to synchronize with the audio tape that Gary Saucier's father had. The challenge that I had was, how do I take a 20-minute film and synchronize it to a 2-hour radio broadcast? Well, what you're about to see is my attempt. I utilized some still pictures, I utilized a lot of replays, a lot of slow motion, and I'm quite pleased with the result. So stay tuned. You're going to have a chance to watch in its entirety the 1969 Leominster versus Fitchburg Thanksgiving game. 40-18, Leominster won, and by the way, it was the 75th anniversary of the rivalry. Hope you have some fun.
Basketball games in Leominster and Fitchburg, and probably is one of the finer officials that is going today. And I'm not saying that to be detrimental to the other officials, because we found the officiating here during this football season on all the games we covered exceptionally well. And these officials have a tough job out there, and they certainly are to be commended for what they do. The officials are still talking out there. The operator of this clock down here and the scoreboard is all set for 12 minutes for this first quarter of play. And we're going to look and see what the story is. Fitchburg High School has lost the toss. They will kick to Leominster. Leominster is defending the goal. As you look to your radio dial to the right, Fitchburg High School is defending the goal to the right. The captains from both teams break away from the center of the field as the 5 officials get together, dancing around. It's a beautiful day, but it's a bit chilly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem by the Leominster High School Marching Band.
We're just about set for the kickoff of this afternoon's ball game, Fitchburg and Leominster, the 75th anniversary edition of this Thanksgiving Day Classic. The Leominster High School Blue Devils have taken the field. They will be defending the goal to our right. Fitchburg will be defending the goal to our left and will be kicking off. Now they break from their huddle and take the field. The ball will be teed up on the 40-yard line. Doing the kicking in all probability for Fitchburg will be Johnny Osborne. And we're just about set for the kickoff for this morning's ball game. And here with all the play-by-play, Tom Conry.
Okay, for Leominster High School, Bobby Mativier, Tommy Case, and Noble Faulkner, the deep men. The Leominster High School Blue Devils are already out there. Fitchburg High breaks away now, and the ball is being teed up down there on the 40-yard line by, of course, none other than their kicker all year, big Johnny Osborne. And Johnny Osborne has done a great job for Fitchburg High doing his kicking this year. He's a 170-pound senior end, and he'll be playing his last football game for the Fitchburg High School Ball Club. 12 minutes is showing on the clock as we begin this Thanksgiving Day game. Osborne approaches the football. He gets the kick away. It's a deep kick. It's taken by Mativier on the 10. He's up to the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30. Still on his feet across to the 35 and brought down on about on the 38-yard line. In there for Fitchburg High School at that point to bring him down was Nick Copley, the 185-pound end. So it's on the 37-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 for Leominster High School. Fitchburg defensive unit getting themselves ready as Leominster High School's Bobby Mativier, the great scorer of the year, takes the ball back to the 37-yard line. Okay, we're set to go. Case this time. The hand goes over the center of the line to Tommy Case. Moves the ball to about the 44-yard line. And Case picks up about 6 yards on the play where it'll be a 2nd down now and about 4 to go. Tommy Case takes the hand, goes over with that football from the quarterback, Mike Case. Leominster is set. We're in a normal T formation. The hand this time to Mativier, tries to spin over to the right-hand side, gets to the line of scrimmage, probably picked up about a yard on the play, and he was dropped on the far side of the field by Gary LeBlanc. So it'll be a 3rd down now, and about 3 for Leominster. The ball is on the 45-yard line, midway between the 45 and 46 of Leominster. Leominster has that football. Out of the huddle, big Steve Mahoney, the center. He's over the ball as Leominster sets himself. They got to slide out to the right-hand side. This time, Mativier right through the middle, picks up that 1st down as he moves the ball to the 49-yard line. You've seen this kid, Warren, carry the ball twice. What do you think of him?
Boy, he seems to be a very hard runner. The first time he carried it, they had 2 defenders waiting for him, and he didn't get much room. But this time, he seemed to have found some room, and he bowled his way for that 1st down, get that tough yardage.
Okay, we got 10:48 remaining in the first period of play. With the football, Leominster High School on their own 49-yard line as they come out of the huddle. Quarterbacking this Leominster High School ball club is classy Mike Case, a 136-pound quarterback. To Mativier again. Mativier tries to go to the right side, picks up about 2 yards on the play into Fitchburg High School territory as he moves the ball down inside to about the 49-yard line of Fitchburg. So it'll be a 2nd down now and a long 7 for this Leominster High School ball club as Mativier took that football down on about the 10-yard line on a beautiful kickoff from Johnny Osborne. And this kid can run with the football, brought it all the way back to the 40-yard line. And now Leominster has moved into Fitchburg High School territory. Case sets himself, looks around at his offensive backfield. This time, the pitch goes to Jimmy DePasquale, and Jimmy is nailed behind the line of scrimmage. The official said, your forward motion was right at the line of scrimmage. So now it's going to be a 3rd down and about 8 for Leominster. What do you look for in a situation like this, Warren?
Well, if I was on defense, I'd look for the draw or the screen, or definitely a pass. You've got to get that 1st down.
Okay, here they go. And it is. Case rolling back to pass. Mativier went downfield, but the pass went to Jimmy DePasquale, and he was all alone down into the 42-yard line of Fitchburg. And Leominster High School has picked up a 1st down. It's on the 41-yard line now, and you heard Warren Muir. He said that he looked for that pass definitely, and Jimmy DePasquale was all alone and picked up the 1st down for Leominster. So the ball is resting midway between the 40 and 41-yard line of Fitchburg, and it's a 1st and 10 for Leominster High School, and they're on the move here at Doyle Field in Leominster this morning. Mike Case, the quarterback, to Mativia, tries to go over the center of the line, picked up about 3 yards on the play before he was dropped as they unpile out there. In there for Fitchburg High School that time to bring him down was Gary LeBlanc, so it'll be a 2nd down now and about 8 for Leominster. The ball.
Many times the 3rd down play is a crucial play, and if they pick up those 3rd down plays, it might decide the ball game.
Case back to pass again, looking downfield, all alone, Tommy Frederelli. He's at the 15, the 10, the 5, and there's a flag down on the play. It looks to me like there's a clipping penalty going to be called against Bobby Mativia. They threw flags all around him like rose petals.
That's a bad break for Leominster, Tom, if it is a clipping penalty. A great catch by Frederelli. The officials are picking up the flags now, and they're talking with Fitchburg, so it apparently will be against Leominster. And we'll just have to wait and see what the exact call is. But normally on a play like that, it is a clipping call. They're marking the penalty off from the point of infraction on about the 18-yard line, back 15 yards, and that will bring the ball back to about the 34-yard line of Fitchburg, clipping against Leominster. So a real good game by Leominster is partially nullified by a clipping call against Leominster. And Fitchburg takes time out. Say, is time running out on your old-fashioned water heater? Well, join the many Fitchburg Gas and Electric customers who are enjoying modern Rude water heater rental. You can be assured of oceans of hot water for your home without investing 1 cent. All you pay is $1.95 per month plus the cost of the gas you use. Now, this includes normal installation and any periodic maintenance if needed. Rude gas water heater from Fitchburg Gas and Electric, the modern way to enjoy oceans of hot water. 8:34 left to go in the first quarter of play here from Doyle Field in Leominster. No score. If you just joined us, Leominster has the ball, a 2nd down and about 4 yards to go.
Dave, we want to remind our listeners today that they are playing 12-minute quarters in this ball game. Usually 10, but they always play 12 on Thanksgiving morning. Tommy Case, the quarterback, he rolls to the right. He's looking downfield. He's got Frederelli open again. And Frederelli was deep, but he threw that pass to Jimmy DePasquale, and there's a pass interference being called against Fitchburg High School, and it's a completion down there on about the 25-yard line. The official's going to place the ball at the 28. And it's a 1st down for Leominster, and Leominster High is threatening. Warren, this Leominster team seems fired up.
They certainly do. On that particular play there, I'd hate to be that official, because that was a close call.
Leominster is out in the T formation. The hand this time goes to Mativia. He goes to the right-hand side, and Gary LeBlanc is there to greet him with open arms and brings him down, but not before he picks up about 2 yards on the play. Bobby Mativia, a hard runner. He did pick up a couple of yards on the play, so now it's a 2nd down and about 5 for Leominster. The ball is on the Fitchburg High School 24-yard line. Mahoney, the center, over the ball. Case looks his ball club over there in the T formation. Again, the hand to DePasquale goes over the center of the line. Pretty close to that 1st down. Let's take a look at it.
I believe they're going to call for a measurement, Tom. They're bringing the... now they're signaling a 1st down. So Leominster picks up another 1st down. 1st down, 10 yards to go. The ball on about the 16.
We're set to go. Leominster fired up. Mativia tries to go over the center of the line. That time, bringing him down for Fitchburg High was Dave Peraza, the 160-pound defensive man. And there's a flag down on the field. Let's take a look at it and see what happens here.
I believe, Tom, it's going to be an offside penalty against Fitchburg. That was the initial indication. We'll wait for the official word, but the penalty flag was thrown in the direction of Fitchburg, and that's what it is. Offside against Fitchburg. That brings the ball down to
about the 12-yard line.
12-yard line. So it'll be a 1st down and about 5.
Mahoney is out of the huddle, a big center. He's over the ball. Tommy Case sets himself. as Leominster is threatening. Mativier with the ball, goes to the right side, still on his feet, gets away from one tackler, and he may have picked up that first down. It's on the far side of the field. Let's take a look at it now. And he has. It's a 1st and 10 for Leominster High, and they are on the move.
But Mativier is a good runner. He broke a tackle that time.
When he receives that ball from the quarterback, he is at full speed and certainly shows himself to be a great ball player. Okay, Leominster has it 1st and 10 on about the Fitchburg 2. Hand off this time, again to Mativier. Goes to the right side, picked up a couple of yards on the play. It's going to be pretty close down there. The ball is roughly on the 4-yard line of Fitchburg, where it's a 2nd down. Leominster High School coming on strong at season's end. A fine-looking ball club out there this morning against Fitchburg High School in this 1st quarter. Again, Mativier with the ball, goes to the right side, and he is stopped that time. In there to make the tackle was 190-pound Mike Shattuck. And sooner or later, Warren, they catch up with you, don't you, if you keep going to the same side?
Right, they ran that same identical play that they picked up the first down on last time, where he broke tacklers, and they had 3 Red Raiders there waiting for him.
He lost about a yard on the play, so it'll be a 3rd and goal to go. The ball resting right on the 5-yard line. The Fitchburg High School coaching staff on the sidelines, and Mike Burke, assistant coach, says watch that pass. Case, the quarterback, has the ball. He rolls to the left side. He's looking downfield, and in the end zone, and scoring the touchdown is Tommy Fraterelli. Tommy Fraterelli scores a touchdown from the 5-yard line, and Leominster is out in front of Fitchburg by a score of 6-0. A pass from Mike Case to Tommy Fraterelli puts Leominster on the scoreboard on top of Fitchburg by a score of 6-0. Leominster High is going to go for the 1-point conversion. Doing the kicking for Leominster is Bobby Mativier. Here's the snap from center. The kick is up, and it's good. Leominster 7, Fitchburg nothing.
On this great Thanksgiving morning, the folks at the Anwell Corporation extend holiday greetings to all of you, with a firm wish that the bounties of this country are yours this year, 1969. We have much to be grateful for, a land of plenty where integrity and fortitude and initiative are rewarded, where the good life can be achieved by perseverance. Happy Thanksgiving Day to all of you from the Anwell Corporation, the people-oriented company of Fitchburg. 5 minutes and 47 seconds left to go in the 1st quarter. 7-0. Leominster on top of Fitchburg. Fitchburg kicked off to Leominster, and they marched all the way down the field and have broken the scoring ice here with 5:47 to go. Leominster getting set to kick off to Fitchburg. Back there in twin safeties for the Red Raiders, Richie and Ralph Boudreau. We're all set to go. Here's Tom.
Okay, Bobby Mativier, who is responsible for grinding out that yardage for Leominster High School, now is going to be kicking off to Fitchburg High School. As Leominster has the jump on Fitchburg, they're ahead now 7-0. It's a short kick, and it only goes about 5 yards, and actually I think they're going to have to kick that ball over. No, they're not. Fitchburg High is going to take that football over on the Leominster 48-yard line, and Warren, I don't know if they intended it to be that way, but certainly it was not a very good kick. I think they wanted the short one, but it glanced off the side of Bob Mativier's foot.
It looked like he did miss the ball. He kicked it, and I think he topped it. And, of course, that's a dangerous ball when it rolls out in that free zone.
Okay, Fitchburg has set Alan Glennie. They have a slot to the left-hand side. The pitch now to Richie Boudreau. Richie cuts across the center of the line and goes all the way down inside to about the 42-yard line. A pickup on the play of about 8 yards for Fitchburg High. And that scant little halfback, Richie Boudreau, took the hand from Glennie, cut to the left-hand side, broke one tackler, and moved the ball down inside to about the 42-yard line. So it's a 2nd down now and about 4 for Fitchburg. The ball on the 42-yard line of Leominster. Randy Palmer, the big center over the ball. Fitchburg has a slot to the right-hand side this time. Richie Boudreau again with the football. Gets away from one tackler, down to the 40, still on his feet before he's brought down inside by Danny Maxfield, the 175-pound tackle from Leominster. And the official is going to look at that ball, and Fitchburg High School has picked up their first down of the afternoon.
I think John Birch, the 41 there, the fullback, is leading these halfbacks around the corners. He's doing a good job blocking.
1st and 10 for Fitchburg. The ball on the 38-yard line of Leominster. Alan Glennie, the quarterback, hands to Bruce Birch, who goes over the center of the line and drives like a Big Mac truck all the way down to the 32-yard line. Bobby Mativia there was to bring him down. Jimmy Buckley also gave him an assist. So it's a second down now and 5 for Fitchburg. And the Fitchburg High School offensive unit seems to be working quite well at this point. Fitchburg High with the ball. Birch again tries to go over the center of the line, but Frattarelli was there to stop him. He gets to about the line of scrimmage. Let's watch the officials see where he puts that ball down. They picked up roughly a yard on the play, so it'll be a third down now and 5 for Fitchburg. The ball on the 32-yard line of Leominster as Fitchburg breaks in the huddle. They have a slot to the left-hand side. Hilario is split wide. With the ball this time, Richie Boudreau tries to turn the corner, and there are white jerseys everywhere and red jerseys standing up everywhere. Bobby Mativia brought him down. Also in there was Jimmy Buckley defending, and he lost about 2 yards on that play, possibly 3, so it's a fourth down now for Fitchburg. 4th and 8.
The way Leominster moved down that field, Fitchburg's going to have to score to stay in this ball game.
It looks that way. This Leominster High School ball club is upset-minded. It's a 4th down and 8. Fitchburg High is going for it. Glennie's going back to pass. He's looking downfield. Nick Copley was there, but Bobby Mativia was there for the Blue Devils to break it up. And Leominster High School takes over. 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. And unless Fitchburg High School can turn the tide, they're in for a long morning here because Leominster High School is fired up, to say the least.
Say the least is right, Tom. They have come out loaded for bear here in the opening quarter. They got the ball first, marched and scored, and now they've held Fitchburg and have taken over on their own 35.
Mahoney, the center, the snap. This time, the ball goes to Tommy Case, goes over the center of the line, moves it out to about the 38-yard line. In there to bring him down for Fitchburg High School was big Roger LaRoche, and we say big, we mean big. They've got Roger listed at 250 on the program, but I think they're shy by about 20 pounds.
Fitchburg had a 9-man front that time, Tom, only 2 defenders. I wonder if they're determined to stop that rush.
They probably are. They would like to cut Mr. Mativia down every time he comes through. Pitch out this time to Mativia on the right side. He's up to the 40, and he gets up to about the 44-yard line before he's dropped on the far side of the field by Roger LaRoche. The wide pitch that time to Bob Mativia, but he did pick up good yardage on the play, so it's a third down now and about 2.
A 9-man yard front is hard to get through, but once you get through, you only have those 2 defenders back to stop the boy from the goal line.
Pretty dangerous in a pass situation if they pull one quickly, isn't it?
You have to contain those ends.
Okay, Case this time, and going through the center of the line, and brother, was he walloped. That time, Tommy Case went through the center of the line, and the big bull, Roger LaRoche, gave him that bear hug, and down he went. So it's a 4th down now, and about 2 for Leominster. And let's take a look at it now. Leominster is not going to gamble. Going back into kick formation for Leominster High was Tommy Frattarelli, but they called timeout, and that means it's time in for Dave.
Today is Turkey Day, when the final gun sounds. Winners and losers alike will repair to the festive board and eat with equal appetite. Perhaps this is not the time to mention Howdy Beef Burger's Big Pete Triple Decker, but appetites will be sharp again as the day and evening wears on. Howdy Beef Burger, 140 Water Street in Fitchburg, just over the bridge from downtown Fitchburg, will be open today from 3 until midnight. The Big B's and all the other delectable Howdy snacks and desserts will be waiting. 2:07 left to go in quarter number 1, 7-0. Leominster on top. They have the ball, 4th down, and about 1.5 yards to go for a first down on their own 44-yard line. They will kick. Richie and Ralph Boudreau go back in safeties for Fitchburg. Here's Tom.
Frattarelli is standing on the 35-yard line. He gets a good deep kick away, taken by Richie Boudreau. Richie gets away from one tackler and slips up and falls down back there on about the 17-yard line. A fantastic kick by Tommy Frattarelli that puts Fitchburg down deep in their own territory on about the 19-yard line, where it'll be a 1st and 10. Fitchburg High having difficulty getting on track this morning against this fired-up Leominster ball club, a good Leominster High ball club. The hand this time to Richie Boudreau. Comes across the center of the line. He's still got blocking and moves the ball all the way out to about the 29-yard line before he stopped out there by Danny Maxfield. And he picks up a 1st and 10. And the ball is, the nose of the ball resting just about on the 30-yard line. And for a light fella, he can really run with that football. Again, the hand of Richie Boudreau spins away from one tackler, gets up to about the line of scrimmage before he is dropped down there. In there for Leominster High School that time to bring him down was Jimmy Buckley, the senior guard, the defensive guard for this Leominster High School ball club. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 for Fitchburg as Richie got to about the line of scrimmage. Fitchburg's out of the huddle. They're in an eye to the right-hand side. Again, Richie Boudreau through the center of the line. Gets away from one tackler, and he's all the way down to about the 45-yard line before he is finally stopped down there by Mike Antonucci. And you probably heard Warren yell in the background, he might go. And did you ever see a kid get through those holes so quickly?
No, I haven't, Tom.
He really moved up there. They opened up the hole for him. The hand this time goes to brother Ralphie Boudreau, who gets across to about the 50-yard line before he stopped. Pick up on the play of about 4 yards, so it'll be a 2nd down and 6. The ball right in the middle of the gridiron here at Doyle Field in Leominster. Yours truly, Tom Conry, Dave Svens, and Warren Muir, South Carolina fullback star, bringing you this game over WFGL and WFMP in Fitchburg. With the ball now, Richie Boudreau comes over the center of the line, and a whole host of blue and white defenders to greet him, led by Joe Cosenza, the 148-pound senior. The official placing that ball just inside the Leominster High School territory on about the 48-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd down now for Fitchburg and about 4 yards to go.
Bruce Birch is coming out for Fitchburg. Mike Pucko has gone in, possibly with a play from Marco Landon.
Slot on the left-hand side is Ralphie Boudreau. Little jump pass to Nick Copley, still on his feet, down to the 40, inside to about the 35-yard line, and that was a well-executed play.
Boy, that certainly surprised me, Tom. And it sure surprised those Leominster defenders also.
It looked like they were still down at the line of scrimmage before that snap got away, and Nick Copley was there to gather it in and pick up a 1st down for Fitchburg. And thus far, this play has been well executed. That's the end of the first period of play. Leominster is out in front of Fitchburg by a score of 7-0.
Soon there'll be a sparkling new Claiborne Credit Union building on Fairmont Street in Fitchburg to serve their many customers and friends. Meanwhile, if you're interested in the 1970 automobiles and you need financial help, get to Claiborne Credit Union, the people who like to say yes to your loan request. Automobile loans, complete financial service always at the Claiborne Credit Union, 7 Fairmont Place in Fitchburg. 1 quarter has been completed here at Doyle Field in Leominster, 7-0. Leominster on top of Fitchburg. Leominster scored the first time they had the ball, and Fitchburg now has the ball. 1st and 10, and that ball is resting inside the 35 on about the 34-yard line. We're all set to go. Here's Tom.
Okay, Fitchburg is out of the huddle. They're in an eye to the left-hand side. The handoff this time goes to Richie Boudreau. Richie tries to turn the corner, but gets absolutely nowhere, probably up to the line of scrimmage on that play. In there to bring him down was Jimmy Buckley. It's a 2nd down and about 11 for Fitchburg. A loss of a yard on the play that time. Brisk wind blows half a yard of confetti into the building. Okay, with the ball now, Boudreau. Richie Boudreau trying to go to the right side. He slips and he falls and he loses another yard on the play, so Fitchburg has a 3rd down now and about 13 to go for that 1st down. The ball is now being placed on about the 37-yard line, midway between the 36 and 37. And what kind of a play would you call here, Warren?
Well, again, it's going to be some sort of pass play or a draw off a fake pass.
A little jump pass over the center of the line, and it's been intercepted by Leominster. With the football is Eric Ledger, the sophomore, intercepts the pass, and Leominster has the ball now at the Fitchburg High School 40-yard line. An intercepted pass and a bad break for Fitchburg. Heads-up football for Leominster, and Leominster again has the football and are on the move.
The cause of that was Leominster's defensive end was hitting Fitchburg's offensive end, and he never got out off the line of scrimmage.
A little comment here from Warren Muir during the game. Case with the football, going back to pass. He's looking downfield. He hits Mativier. Mativier is at the 50, down to the 45, to the 40, still on his feet. Goes out of bounds on about the Fitchburg High School 36-yard line. Riding him out on the far side of the field for Fitchburg was Alan Glennie. But the Blue Devils are moving. 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg High School 37-yard line. A fired-up Leominster High School ball club giving Fitchburg a lot of grief this morning here in the second period of play. Leominster's out in front of Fitchburg 7-0. Mike Case, the junior quarterback, this time hands the football over to Tommy Case. And Tommy moves the ball down to the 35-yard line where it's a 2nd down now and 8 for Leominster High School. 10:24 remaining in this second period of play. High school football over WFGL and WFMP in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Mativier with the ball, tries to go over the center of the line, picks up roughly about 3 yards on the play. Well, it'll be a 3rd down and 6 for Leominster. The ball is on the 32-yard line of Fitchburg. Leominster High getting the ball deep into Fitchburg territory. Leominster is out of the huddle. Mike Case, the quarterback, looks around at his defensive unit. This time, hands that ball off and going over to Jimmy DePasquale. Still on his feet, and he goes all the way for the Leominster score. Leominster High School 13, Fitchburg nothing. Jimmy DePasquale takes that football for a 32-yard gallop for Leominster High School, and it's 13-0.
You'll have to give credit to that Leominster line. They're really firing out on the Fitchburg front, opening up holes for their backs.
We might add, Tom, that Leominster line is outweighed by Fitchburg, and Huck Hannigan said the line that hits the hardest today is going to be the team that walks off with a victory, and so far, his ball club is doing the hardest hitting.
Leominster High is riding high in this ball game, doing a great job out there. They're going to go for that 2-point conversion at this point. They're ahead 13-0. Case rolling back, looking downfield, and it's a passway that's been broken up. So as they come up the field with 9:38 remaining in the second period of play, Leominster 13, Fitchburg nothing.
When your projects get beyond the wheelbarrow stage, you need an expert with the right equipment. And you need Ray Moore Incorporated of Lunenburg. Whether it be a residential, commercial, or industrial project and requires shovel work, bulldozer, or front-end loading, you can depend on Ray Moore & Company. Think of this number, 342-2776. That's the number of Ray Moore Incorporated, specialists in excavating work of all types. They're ready at all times with a full staff of experienced workmen to help you with trench work, sewer and water main extension, and cellar excavating. That's the Ray Moore & Company, Youngs Road in Lunenburg. 9:38 left to go. Surprisingly enough, 13-0. Leominster on top. They're set to kick to Fitchburg. Here's Tom.
Tim Conway doing the kicking for the Leominster High School Blue Devils. The ball teed up there on the 40-yard line. The deep men of the Boudreau brothers, the co-captains for Fitchburg High. And Leominster High School certainly showing great might and power here at Doyle Field this morning. Here's the kick. It's a good boot. It's kicked away. Taken down there by Donnie Freeberg. Comes across the field, and he is nailed and nailed hard. The ball down there at about the 25-yard line, and in there was Donnie Tucker to bring him down. So it's 1st and 10 for Fitchburg on the 25-yard line. And Warren said to me, has Fitchburg ever been behind? And they haven't been behind all year in any ball game that they've played, but they've got a new experience on their hands this morning. Glennie, this time, hands it off to Richie Boudreau, tries to go to the right side. Picked up about 3 yards on the play. In there for Leominster High School on the tackle that time was senior Joe Cosenza. It's a 2nd down now and 5 to go for Fitchburg. The ball is on the 29-yard line. Fitchburg trailing 13-0. This time, Richie Boudreau spins away from one tackler, gets up to about the 35-yard line. The official going to mark that forward progress just over the 35, and Fitchburg High School has themselves a 1st down. Warren, it seems as though Fitchburg has that offensive momentum, but whether or not they can sustain it, I think that's their major problem thus far.
They haven't seemed to be getting those big 3rd down plays like Leominster has. So far, Fitchburg's only got 2 out of 4 on the 3rd down plays, and Leominster's gotten 3 out of 4. Of course, one of them was for a touchdown.
Ralph Boudreau on that last Hand took the ball across to about the 36-yard line, so it's a second down now. Actually, the 36 was the line of scrimmage. Probably picked up a couple of inches on the play, so it's a second down and 10 for Fitchburg High. Darren and I to the left. This time, the hand goes to Ralphie Boudreau, and Warren says another big third down play as Fitchburg has a third and about 11 to go. Going into the ball game now for Fitchburg High School is Gary Aho, and coming out of there for the red and gray is Steve Canale. Third down and 11 for Fitchburg. Copley split wide to the right side. Glennie going back to pass. He's got plenty of protection. A little pass on the flat. Goes out to Richie Boudreau. Gets across the 40 to about the 43-yard line before he's ridden out of bounds. And it'll be a fourth down situation for Fitchburg and roughly about 3 yards to go. Going back into the ball game now is Tommy Bean, the defensive unit for Fitchburg High, as they find themselves in another kick situation. Unable to sustain that drive, Fitchburg High School having their difficulties here. Going back is Mike Antonucci for Leominster. And also going back there is Jimmy Giadoni in the twin safety positions. Fitchburg High School will be doing the punting. Randy Palmer, the co-captain, standing back there on the 30-yard line. And Fitchburg on the fake. And Fitchburg apparently was illegal procedure at that point, and it was a fake.
The left side of their line was jumping before the snap.
And this will put Fitchburg back just a little bit further. Procedure penalty against Fitchburg High School Ball Club, and actually before the ball was actually snapped from center, the whistles were blowing. So Randy Palmer is now standing back on his own 25-yard line to do the punting. Here's a snap from center. It's a good snap. It's a good high boot. Taking that football for Leominster High School and being nailed right on the spot is Mike Antonucci. In there for Fitchburg, Richie Boudreau to bring him down. Also, he got an assist in there from Big Johnny Whitney. So it's Leominster's ball again. First and 10 on the 39-yard line. And every time Leominster High School has had their hands on that pigskin this morning, they've been able to score. They're out in front by a score of 13-0 with 7:34 remaining here in this second period of play at Doyle Field in Leominster. With the ball, got plenty of room, is Jimmy DePasquale, goes to the left-hand side, and Warren, believe me, when I looked at that one, I thought Tommy Case had the ball. It was a beautiful fake.
Beautiful fake, and Fitchburg's defensive end was on the ground too, and he had that whole corner to turn with no one in front of him, and defensive man from Fitchburg came up and did make a fine play on it.
He picked up 5 yards on the play, so it'll be a second down for Leominster High School at the 44-yard line, their own 44. They're in a normal Q formation now. Case, the quarterback, going back, looking downfield, throws that long bomb. Fraterelli was out there. Defending him all the way that time was Alan Glennie, so it comes back, and it'll be a third down and 5 for Leominster. Leominster set. Case with the ball. This time, the hand goes to Jimmy DePasquale, who tries to go to the left side, and actually he gets to the line of scrimmage, and this is the first time this morning that Fitchburg High School's defensive unit has been able to hold on to Leominster.
We've got 6:27 left to go in half number 1 here at Doyle Field. 13-0, Leominster on top. Fourth down, here's Tom.
Richie and Ralph Boudreau are the deep men, as Fraterelli will be doing the pumping. The punting, the kick is a beauty. Taken down there on the 5-yard line by Richie Boudreau. And he starts to gallop back. Gets away from one tackler, gets away from two. Still on his feet. Gets up to about the 20-yard line. And it'll be a first and 10 for Fitchburg at that point.
There's a penalty on the play, Tom, and I believe Fitchburg was offside, which would
give Leominster a first down.
It would be very close to a first down at any rate, and they're talking with Leominster now, and they're going to bring the ball back. So that's a first down for Leominster High School. A bad break for Fitchburg. It's one of those linemen jumped offside on the snap for that kick, and it's 5 yards, and the Blue Devils only had 4 for a first down, so they have the ball at midfield, first and 10.
Right in the center of the football field, Leominster High School has it. Case going back to pass. He's looking downfield. He's got Mativier on the sideline pattern, and he caught He caught it because there was a pass interference on the far side of the field, and it's being called against Mike Paco, a sideline pattern, and there was an interference there. And Leominster High School has a 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg High School 35-yard line.
Leominster flowed their backs to the right and then sent a flare man down the left sideline, and he had to be covered by a Fitchburg linebacker on that particular play. And he was getting by the linebacker, and the linebacker had to push him, but he still caught the ball, so Leominster refused the penalty.
So it's a 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line for Leominster High School. And Leominster actually this morning, and we can say this without really batting an eyelash, is having actually very little difficulty with this Fitchburg High School ball club. Fitchburg High coming into this game with an 8-0 record, Leominster 6-2, and Leominster is out in front now by a score of 13-0. The hand this time over the center of the line with that football goes Mativier, and there's a apparently holding penalty against Leominster High School, and they're going to mark off a big 15-yarder against Leominster High School for offensive holding, and Fitchburg High gets a break as the ball comes all the way back to the 44-yard line. 1st down now and 25 to go for Leominster. Leominster out in front with 5:58 remaining in this second period. They're out in front by a score of 13-0. Case, the quarterback, rolls back, looking downfield, throws the long bomb. Mativier is all alone. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and he scores. All alone was Bobby Mativier. And on a 44-yard pass play, Leominster goes out in front of Fitchburg 19-0.
Well, Tom, I was in that Fitchburg High dressing room before the game. I wish I had been in Leominster's dressing room to see what they were saying.
I guess so, because they are fired up as they are now out in front of Fitchburg 19-0, and Leominster is having a field day over Fitchburg at Doyle Field. 19-0, and Mativier is going to attempt the extra point conversion. The pass from center, the kick is up, and it's wide. No good. So the two teams come upfield with 5:49 remaining in the second period of play. Leominster is out in front of Fitchburg by a score of 19-0.
Rivalries help to make America the great country that it is today. Competition makes individuals and companies prosper. The Anwell Corporation applauds the competitive spirit evidenced on this playing field today and strongly urges all of the participants to carry the spirit of togetherness forward into their working years. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone from the Anwell Corporation. 5:49 left to go on the first half. If you're just tuning in, you better sit down because it's 19-0. Leominster on top of Fitchburg. One of the big upsets in the making right here at Doyle Field. We're set for the kickoff. Once again, here's Tom.
Tim Conway is doing the booting for the Leominster High School Blue Devils. The ball teed up on the 40-yard line. A fantastic crowd here at Doyle Field seeing Leominster High School put on a great show. Okay, with the ball is Richie Boudreau coming up the center of the football field, and he returns that ball all the way to about the 33-yard line, where it'll be a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg High School Ball Club. Glennie with the football, rolls to the right. He hits Bruce Birch on about the 39-yard line. And in there to bring him down for Leominster High School that time was Joe Cosenza. And Bob Pelletier of the Fitchburg Sentinel just turned around and asked Warren Muir if he had his uniform with him. Do you have it in the car?
Well, actually, I don't. I kind of glad I don't either. I wouldn't want to be out there the way Leominster's playing.
Second down, about 4. Pass play out, intended for Johnny Ilario. And in there defending was Donnie Tucker for the Leominster High School Blue Devils. Dave, I always get that mixed up. It's Ralph Ilario, right. On the 39-yard line, it's a 2nd down and 3 for Fitchburg. They're on their own 39. Nick Copley, the end on the right side, split wide. A little pass out in the flat this time to Richie Boudreau. Gets up to about the 45-yard line and driven out on the far side of the field. Over there for Leominster High School was Billy Bashaw to drive him out. And it looks like Fitchburg High has picked up a 1st down, and they have. 1st and 10 on their own 48-yard line. Warren, that little screen pass out there has worked very well for the Fitchburg High School Ball Club the times that they have used it this morning.
Well, apparently Leominster's linebackers aren't seeing it develop, and that's the whole key to this thing, is hiding it until the last second and then quickly dumping the ball to the back and letting them get outside with his blockers.
Glenny's back to pass again. He's rolling to the left, and he's being chased. He's got to get rid of that football. Throws that ball down, and he hits Ralphie Boudreau on about the 49-yard line. Pick up on the play of about 3 yards in there for Leominster High that time. To bring him down was Eric Ledger, the 150-pound sophomore defender. And the official is placing that ball right in the middle of the football field, so it'll be a second down now, and about 7 to go for Fitchburg, trailing 19-0, and that's quite a lead to overcome on a Thanksgiving morning, to say the least, even though we do have 2 full quarters of football to go. Pass out on the sideline, intended for Ralph Valerio, and it's no good. So it'll be a third down now and 7. It appears now that Fitchburg High School, having difficulty getting untracked running with that ball, is starting to throw it a little more.
Well, this is another important third down play right now with only 4:06 remaining on the clock. They've got to come up with something in this first half.
Both ends, Zalerio and Copley are split wide. Glenny on the draw play. Bruce Birch over the center of the line, up to about the 40, and he picks up a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg. A well-executed draw play.
Very well executed. He had a blocker out in front of him who did nothing but get in his way, too. That's unfortunate. He might have gone if that blocker had only thrown.
And as Warren pointed out earlier, on these crucial third downs, they do pass and they do use the draw play. And there are 4 minutes remaining now in this first half of play. Fitchburg has the ball, 1st and 10 on the Leominster 40-yard line. And there was a lot of daylight out in front of Bruce Birch that time. Copley split wide to the right. A little pass out in the flat to Ralphie Boudreau, and it was wide. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 now here at Doyle Field in Leominster. Yours truly, Tom Conry, Dave Svens, and Warren Muir in the broadcast booth for FGL Sports. And we want to wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving out there. We know that several of you beyond the reaches of Fitchburg probably are listening on FM to see how the boys from back home are doing, either in Fitchburg and Leominster. Glenny on the keeper play, but there's a flag down as he gets to the line of scrimmage and is driven out on the far side of the field. And let's take a look at this one and see what the call will be. Leominster was offside, the preliminary indication given down there by the official. The ball now is on about the 39-yard line of Leominster. Fitchburg has it. Fine crowd here on a chilly Thanksgiving morning.
That's the call, Tom. Offside against Leominster. They'll mark off 5 yards towards the Leominster goal line. That places the ball almost exactly on the 35-yard line. That'll make it a 2nd down and 5 yards to go for the Red Raiders.
Fitchburg is out of the huddle. Ralph Boudreau is a flanker to the right. This time the hand goes to Richie, goes over the center of the line, picks up about 2 yards, where it'll be a 3rd down now, and about 3 for Fitchburg. Fitchburg High would like to get on that scoreboard before they go in at halftime, because they're down 19-0, and Leominster is displaying mighty football here at Doyle Field this morning, Dave. Glenny with the football, rolls back, and the pass rushes on, and it's a screen pass to Bruce Birch, and he had plenty of blockers in front of him. In there for Leominster High School was Don Tucker, and boy, he really stopped it. Bruce Birch is down on the field, and he's injured. It's a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg at the 33, and it's too bad that the youngster was injured on the play. He's out there now. Dr. Walker, the team doctor for Fitchburg High, is out there looking him over along with Dr. Cochran. And Bruce is down on the field. And Bruce is injured.
You know, Tom, that Donald Tucker for Leominster is really playing a heads-up game. He's covering ends when they go off for pass patterns. That time, he was the only man among 7 Fitchburg High blockers to stop that little screen play right up the middle. And he's really hustling out there. He's playing an excellent game.
Apparently, Bruce Birch has injured his arm, and they are talking to him down there. He's able to talk to him, but apparently he suffered an arm injury, and they're going over to the sideline, apparently looking for probably some type of a splint. Bruce Birch down there on the field, catching a great pass for Fitchburg High and picking up that 1st and 10. And the game is going to be delayed somewhat. Apparently, Dave, The arm injury, I wouldn't say it is of a serious enough nature so that they're going to apparently get some kind of a splint to hold it up till he can get medical attention.
Well, Bruce's absence, Tom, is going to be felt by Fitchburg because he has done very well here this afternoon on those fullback bursts over the middle, and of course on that play right there where he was injured on the screen pass. So Mike Pucko, I imagine, will be substituting for Bruce, and Mike has done a fine job all year, so we'll have to wait and see. At Fitchburg, if you have to pick out one strong point in their game, it's their depth in their offensive backfield. So it's unfortunate to have an injury, but if you have to have one, I guess that offensive backfield is the place to have it. Bruce is leaving the field, and they are taking him to a police cruiser, I believe, on the far side, and they'll probably take him to the Leominster Hospital for probably precautionary x-rays. But he's walking off under his own power. We're all set to go with 2:53 left to go on half number one, 19-0. Leominster on top of Fitchburg. 1st and 10, Fitchburg.
1st and 10, Fitchburg on the Leominster 33-yard line. Mike Pucko is now in there in the fullback slot for Fitchburg High School, taking over for Bruce Birch, who is going to be taken to the hospital apparently to have some work done on that arm, which appears to be broken. Ralphie Boudreau, and that pass was almost intercepted by Eric Ledger. And Eric Ledger, who only as a sophomore, has played a great defensive game for Leominster High School also.
That looked like a case, Tom, where Ledger was picking his path to the end zone before that ball got there, because there was nobody between the end zone and himself. And he would have had a sure touchdown had he been able to intercept that ball.
A 2nd and 10 now for Fitchburg. Glennie with the football, back in the pocket looking downfield, and it goes right through the fingers of Ralph Valerio, who is at the 20-yard line all alone. Defending for Leominster High School at that point was Don Tucker again. We can't help but mention Eric Ledger for this Leominster High School ball club. The kid's only a sophomore and promises to be one of the fine defensive players for Leominster High School.
Another crucial 3rd down play.
Nick Copley is split wide. Pass over the center to Copley, and it is incompleted. In there for Leominster High School was Joe Cosenza. That was a little bit, being a little bit too anxious, I think, Warren.
Yeah, the pass was to him. It just dropped it. It's another one of those 3rd down plays, but they're close enough where they'll go for it on 4th down.
4th and 10 for Fitchburg. The hand this time with the ball. Richie Boudreau goes to the 25-yard line, so Leominster High School takes over 1st and 10 on their own 25-yard line with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half of play. Fitchburg having difficulty with Leominster, to say the least, here this morning. Bruce Birch, the fullback for Fitchburg High School, being driven out of the park now, apparently suffered a broken arm or wrist in that last pass play. Flags all over the field as the hand goes off to Jimmy DePasquale, and Jimmy just stops in his tracks to wait for the call. Procedure penalty against the Leominster High School Blue Devils, and they're marking off 5 against them. Puts the ball now on the 21-yard line. 1st and 15 for Leominster High School, enjoying a 19-0 lead, a well-earned lead here this morning at Doyle Field. Mike Case, the quarterback, hands it to DePasquale, still on his feet, gets away from one tackler, gets up to about the 26-yard line, still on his feet outside on the 31-yard line. And that boy can really pick him up and lay him down. Richie Fitzpatrick was on the far side along with Randy Palmer to drive him out, but he brought that football all the way up to the 31-yard line. So it's a 2nd down and about 5 for Leominster. The offensive unit of Leominster High School grinding it out this morning against a previously undefeated Fitchburg High School ball club. Mike Case sets himself. This time hands to Mativia, who's got a wide open field, gets inside to the 40, across to about the 44-yard line before he is finally stopped at that point by Dave Ferrazza. The official placing the ball on the 44, but Leominster has themselves a 1st down, and they still got plenty of time to get into that end zone.
Fitchburg, Tom, was worried about getting on the scoreboard before the half ends. The worry now is to stop Leominster from scoring again before the half is over.
This time, Case going back to pass, throws the long bomb downfield, and it's broken up down there by Alan Glennie, intended for Tommy Fraterelli. Glennie put that big mid of his up there and knocked the ball down, so it comes back, and it'll be a 2nd and 10 for Leominster. Fitchburg High having probably one of their worst moments in football on this Thanksgiving Day here at Doyle Field in Leominster. Case, Mativia right through the center of the line, still on his feet across the 45, down to about the 42-yard line. Dropped down in there by Gary LeBlanc of Fitchburg, but Mativia's got himself a 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg High School 42-yard line. Leominster not wasting any time in the huddle, not wasting much time with long counts, jumping off to a big lead over Fitchburg here this morning. Case, the quarterback, rolls back, looking downfield, throws the long bomb. Fraterelli is there, and so is Alan Glennie, who bats it down. Be a 2nd and 10 now. This young Case boy can throw a football, can't he, Warren?
That one had good distance on it. It was a little high that time, and it allowed Alan Glennie to get there with the receiver and knock it down.
2nd and 10, 1:17 showing on the clock here at Doyle Field before the end of the first half of play. Fitchburg is trailing Leominster High School 19-0. Case again rolls to the right, looking downfield, right in the middle, wide open is Jimmy Flanagan, the sophomore end, and he picks up another 1st down for Leominster High School at the Fitchburg High School 24. Warren, what happened that time?
Leominster crossed their ends, and when they crossed them, there was a little bit of confusion in the Fitchburg secondary, and one of the crossing men was left wide open.
So Leominster High School has a minute to get on that scoreboard again. 1st and 10 at the Fitchburg High School 24. They're out of the huddle. Mahoney over the ball. Case this time. Hands off, and still on his feet, getting away from one tackler is Jimmy DePasquale. Gets away from 2 more before he's finally dropped back there. And this kid has a lot of potential as well. Everybody was talking about Bobby Mativia, but there's a great team effort underway here this morning by this Leominster High School ball club. In fact, I'd hate to single out any one ball player, Warren.
I know those linemen are unsung heroes, but they're giving Case a lot of time to throw that ball.
Case looks around, rolls back, looking downfield, takes a little fake. He's got Mativia open down on the far side, and it's in and out of his hands, but the football was intercepted, I believe. Let's watch for the call down there. Fitchburg ball, just indicated it's a Fitchburg ball. 1st and 10 at the 20. Was intercepted down there in the end zone by Fitchburg.
14 seconds left to go in the first half. Fitchburg, I'm sure, will not gamble on any long plays here and gamble on the interception.
14 seconds, Fitchburg High has the ball. Glennie is going to gamble, throws that pass out, and it was intended that time for Alario at about the 26-yard line. Mativia was in there, and also Don Tucker, and Warren Muir points out that there was double coverage that time, so Fitchburg High did take the gamble. At this point, they want to win this ball game. About 9 seconds remaining to play. Glennie, the quarterback, in motion, and there's going to be a procedure penalty called against Fitchburg. Mike Pucko was going in motion, and apparently somebody else moved, and the lineman apparently jumped, as Warren Muir points out. We are approaching halftime here. Fitchburg High probably will be able to get off one more play. Legal procedure against Fitchburg High School. So it'll be a 2nd down and 15 for the red and gray. Little pass this time intended for Richie Boudreau, but he was down. And that is the end of the first half of play with Fitchburg and Leominster. The score, Leominster 19, Fitchburg nothing. We'll be back to have a few interviews and talk to Warren Muir some more about this Fitchburg-Leominster game, recap the scoring, so stay tuned for a fine halftime show. Dave?
We'll be back here at Doyle Field right after this message.
We'd like to
Right, Ron, back here at Doyle Field in Leominster. It's 19-0. Fitchburg on the short end of it. And, Tom?
Dave, let's recap the scoring. The first score came with 5:47 remaining in the first period of play when Mike Case threw a pass to Tommy Fraterelli, and Tommy gathered it in, making it 6-0. Bobby Mativia, the star halfback, then booted the extra point, and Leominster was out in front and off and running 7-0. With 9:38 remaining in the second quarter, Jimmy DePasquale scooted to the left, 32 yards down the sidelines, picked up that Fitchburg, Leominster touchdown, making it 13-0. With 5:49 in the second quarter of play, a 44-yard pass play from Mike Case to Bobby Mativier made it 19-0, and again it failed, the conversion attempt. So that's how it stands now, 19-0, with Leominster out in front of Fitchburg. A great team effort by Leominster High School, and unless the miracle happens, Fitchburg High School is going to have their problems in the second half of play. We have South Carolina fullback, star fullback, Warren Muir, former Fitchburg High School player, with us here in the broadcast booth, and we certainly appreciate him giving up his Thanksgiving morning to come up here and talk to us. Warren, let's take a look at this game. Leominster High School has jumped off to an amazing 19-0 lead over a previously undefeated Fitchburg High School ball club. First of all, let's get your opinions, Warren, on this Leominster High School ball club, what you have seen.
I've been very impressed, Tom. Everything they've done has been well executed on their passing game. The line's giving the quarterback a lot of time. His receivers are getting open. The line's opening up holes for the backs. The backs are running hard. Everything they're doing is going well. Of course, they must have had to work hard getting ready for this game, getting the preparation down, and it seems like they've spent many hours on it because they're executing everything, seems perfectly. I don't know how Fitchburg practiced last week, but they mustn't have worked too much on their defense because Leominster's just going on right through them.
Warren, you've had a lot of football. You probably live, sleep, and eat football. In a position that Fitchburg is in now, trailing 19-0, what do you think they're going to have to do during this second half? We know they're going to have to score and move the football if they want to get in, but what do you look for?
Well, I look for them to start passing more. They'll have to open up. They'll have to go for quick scores because they're so far behind. Now, if they try to grind it out on the ground, it's going to consume a lot of time. So I believe they have to come out and try to get some quick scores by the air.
Warren, Dave Svens has the Honorable William G. Flynn, Bill Flynn, the mayor of Fitchburg, with us, and he wants to interview him on this Thanksgiving morning and get some observations from him. Dave?
Right, Tom. Well, with us we do have Mayor Flynn, and Mayor Flynn, it doesn't look too good for Fitchburg fans at this moment.
There hasn't been too much for us to cheer about, Dave, and we're looking for that rabbit to pull out of the hat at this point.
What are your observations here now, this first half of the ball game? Leominster came out loaded for bear, so to speak, and they've completely outplayed Fitchburg, and that's not the way a lot of prognosticators have picked it. What do you think the problem is?
Well, Dave, if I knew what the problem was, I wouldn't be standing up here talking to you. I'd be in the clubhouse helping them out.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have a fired-up team. Leominster was really out to kind of upset us today, and they've done a remarkable job at this point.
I noticed this year you don't have your crying towel from Mayor Crossman.
For some reason, I didn't bring it, Dave. It wasn't. I hope it wasn't a prediction of what could possibly happen here today. I just saw Ralph, incidentally, and he said, "What kind of a team have I got out there?" And I said, "We got the horseshoe squad out there."
Well, apparently the red and gray are going to have to get on track here in the second half and do some quick scoring if they are going to knock off this Leominster ball club, because Leominster by far is playing the more inspired football here this afternoon. Do you have any hopes? I know you have hope for the second half. Any predictions?
Well, Dave, there's no denying the fact that the Leominster team is doing a remarkable job. But I've watched the Fitchburg team. I've attended most of their games throughout the season. They have the potential. They can do it, and I don't think you're going to see anybody leaving the game early at this point.
Mayor Flynn, thanks for being with us, and you can get back to your nice warm seat down there.
The horseshoe player is here now, too.
Tom, why don't you talk with Mayor Crossman?
Mayor Crossman from Leominster is here with us this morning, and Ralph, Dave has just talked to Mayor Flynn, and you asked him what kind of a ball club he had out there, and apparently Leominster High School is sky high for this, and you know, last year you didn't have this big a grin on your face, but you certainly are smiling at this point in the ball game.
Yes, Tom, it's really a wonderful game. Looking at Leominster's side of the picture, and
this Leominster team is really up. Tom Usick was at the Elks banquet for the players last night, and I think he really put these boys right on top. He told them go out and hit hard and start from the very beginning, and that's just what they're doing. They're playing a tremendous game, and I just don't think they're giving Fitchburg time to catch up, if there's such a thing. And I feel sorry for Bill Flynn. I had to give him a crying towel last time, and I should have one here today, but because I don't think this Leominster team's going to let up. I think they're going to keep going all the way. Yeah.
Ralph, I think you're right. Leominster High School certainly is showing a great power here against Fitchburg High today, and it's a great team effort. The superintendent of schools, Mr. Marty Morin, a longtime old friend of ours, is here, and he's also got a smile on his face. Marty, first of all, we want to thank you and the school committee in Leominster for giving us the opportunity to be down here at Doyle Field on Thanksgiving and throughout this football season, and we most appreciate all the kindnesses you have extended to us, and maybe we can get your comments.
Well, Tommy, been a very fine football game. Leominster has played the finest game which it has so far this year. Their timing and execution has been almost perfect. Mike Case's passing and the running of DePasquale, Mativier, and Tom Case has been hard and consistent. However, I do not feel that the ball game is yet over. Fitchburg has shown flashes of great offensive power, and sooner or later I feel they will tie this offense together consistently. So I expect a very hard and close-fought second half.
Marty, thanks a lot for being with us.
We're all set to go. Here's Tom.
Tim Conroy will be doing the voting again for Leominster High School, a familiar sight here this morning. We've got 24 minutes of football remaining. Picked up by Ralphie Boudreau, tries to cut across the field, gets away from one tackler, still on his feet at the 15-yard line, but he goes down up about the 17. And it's a 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line for Fitchburg High School. And the sun goes in behind the clouds here, and believe me, it's a chilly morning at Doyle Field in Leominster. 1st and 10, Glennie the quarterback. Hands off to Ralphie Boudreau. Comes up over the center of the line to the right-hand side. Picked up about roughly 4 yards on the play. Let's wait till they unpile him. It was Richie Boudreau. And they're moving that marker out. So it'll be a 2nd down and 6 on the 21-yard line. Fitchburg High School has the ball. Glennie, the quarterback, this time hands off to Pucko, and he fumbles that football. And let's wait until they scramble that mess there. Apparently, it's a Fitchburg ball.
That would have been a tragedy, Tom, if Leominster recovered there right in such good field position. And another score now would really dampen Fitchburg's hopes of making a comeback.
Okay, it's 3rd down now and about 3 for Fitchburg. The ball is on the 25-yard line. As Fitchburg has a 3rd and 2 situation. And what would you do in this case, Warren?
There are many things you can do at 3rd and 2. You can fake a pass, run the draw. Well, you can wait them out and draw them offside, too.
And that's just what they did. Fitchburg High draws Leominster offside, and it'll be enough for the 1st and 10 for Fitchburg as they're marking off 5 yards against Leominster, so it'll be a 1st and 10. Fitchburg High in the eye. This time, the hand goes to Pucko, who goes to the right side. Dropped in there that time by Johnny Fiandaca, the 175-pound senior guard. And Pucko moved that ball out to about the 34-yard line, where it'll be a 2nd down now and about 6 for Fitchburg. They're in the I formation. Ralphie Boudreau is the flanker out to the right side. Hand off this time to Richie Boudreau. Tries to get up to the line of scrimmage, but goes exactly nowhere. In there to bring him down was Jimmy Buckley, the 150-pound senior linebacker. Again, Alan Glennie rolls to the left. He's got time to throw. This time he hits Mike Pucko. Comes across the 40-yard line. He's driven out of bounds on about the 42. In there for Leominster that time was Joe Kazenza. And it'll be a 4th down now and about a yard to go for Fitchburg. A crucial play. The ball is on the 39-yard line. Alan Glennie quarterbacking the Fitchburg High School Ball Club. The hand this time, and Leominster apparently has held Fitchburg. as the ball that time was handed to Ralphie Boudreau, and Ralphie just couldn't get across, so it's a 1st and 10 for Leominster on the Fitchburg High School 39-yard line.
Some people would question that call, gambling, giving Leominster the ball, but if you punt and give it to them, I think it might be worse because they've got so much potential. I'd rather gamble and keep the ball.
Right, and that's just what they did. Case this time with the football, hands it over to Jimmy DePasquale, who cut to the right-hand side, picked up about 3 yards on the play before he was brought down in there that time by Mike Tebow.
Tom Fraterelli's made some catches today, but he's working hard too, going downfield, throwing blocks. He's really working today. He's hustling all over the field.
Leominster in a great team effort here, out in front of Fitchburg, 19-0. This time, there's a fumble out there, and Fitchburg High School has recovered the football. Coming up with the football, big Johnny Whitney, the 190-pound tackle from Fitchburg, comes up with the football as Jimmy DePasquale went through the line and lost it. So Fitchburg has the ball, and listen to this cheering section. A fired-up cheering section from Fitchburg. With the ball, Ralphie Boudreau gets away from one tackler, still on his feet, across the 40 to about the 44-yard line before he is finally dropped by Mike Antonucci. Ralph Boudreau picked up 7 on the play, so it's a 2nd down and 3. The football resting on the 45-yard line of Fitchburg. They have the ball. They've got a wing to the right-hand side. Boudreau with the ball gets up to the line of scrimmage, tries to spin away from one tackler as he came to the left. And in there for Leominster High School that time was Joe Cosenza. Gary Aho going into the ball game for Fitchburg. Eye to the right side, Glennie rolls. He's got Nick Copley open, in and out of his hands, down on the Leominster 45-yard line.
Right side of Fitchburg's line was late getting down that time. I think they're going to get him for a legal procedure.
There's a flag in the backfield, the Fitchburg backfield. It's a motion penalty against Fitchburg is the preliminary indication. They're talking with Bobby Materier of Leominster and giving him his options. As it stands, it's 3rd down and about 2. The penalty is refused, making it a 4th down and just about 2 yards to go for a 1st down. Warren, what do you think now? You think they'll go for it?
Yeah, they're going for it, definitely. They don't even have a punter in.
Glennie with the ball, this time hands off to Richie Boudreau, and it's going to be close, very close, as 2 officials quickly get down there and grab that football. And the officials are going to take a timeout, and they're going to bring those stakes in. And from this point, it looks like it's quite short. I think they're about a yard out of the way.
Basically, there's something wrong with the yard lines, the way they're marked off. Because he's about a yard short.
Right. That's the indication from Tony Gentile, the official out there. He says, you're short, boys, and Leominster takes over on the 46-yard line and actually puts them again in good field position. We got about 8 minutes and 8 seconds unofficially remaining in this 3rd quarter of play. Leominster is out in front of Fitchburg by a score of 19-0. Big Steve Mahoney, he's over the football. The quarterback is Mike Case. He begins the chant this time. Hands off once again. Jimmy DePasquale, and DePasquale for the 2nd time in a row fumbles that football, and the football is recovered. Recovering that football for Fitchburg High, Dave Barraza. So it's a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg on the 41-yard line. And in this second half, Warren, you can't say that Fitchburg hasn't got the breaks.
No, they're getting the breaks, but it's what you do with them. You got to capitalize on your breaks, and I hope they do it now.
Glennie with the football. Hands off this time to Mike Pucko, who goes to the right side, picks up about a yard, 2 yards on the play. It will be a 2nd down and 8 as the ball is placed on about the 43-yard line. 2nd down and 8 for Fitchburg. Gary Aho goes into the ball game, and Tommy Bean comes out of there. 2nd and 8 for Fitchburg. They're on their own 43-yard line. Ralphie Boudreau is a flanker out to the right side. The pitch to Richie Boudreau. Tries to turn the corner, gets away from one tackler, still on his feet, moves across the 45 down to about the 46-yard line, and his forward motion took him to about the 48. The official is going to put that ball right down on the 49, where it'll be a third down for Fitchburg and about 3. 3rd and 3 for Fitchburg. The ball right in the middle of the gridiron. The pitch this time goes to Richie Boudreau, cuts back inside, gets up to about the line of scrimmage, picked up about a yard on the play, and again Fitchburg High is going to find themselves in a 4th down and 1 yard situation to go. 4th and 1, and when you're behind 19-0, you don't relinquish that football, do you?
Well, they've gone for it 2 times now, and this will be coming up to the 3rd. Let's see if they make this one. They've gambled. They've been gambling.
Leominster takes time out, time in for Dave Svens.
This is a fun-packed holiday season with appetites at their hungriest. Howdy Beef Burger will be open and ready with the tastiest snacks anywhere when your appetite says eat. Howdy will be open today from 3 p.m. to midnight, Friday and Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to midnight, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Huge Howdy Big B triple-decker, sesame bun sandwiches, delectable Howdy apple snack, and those quick, creamy Howdy shakes will be on tap with all the other Howdy super treats. Howdy Beef Burger, 140 Water Street, Route 12, just over the bridge from downtown Fitchburg. 6:36 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Fitchburg trailing Leominster by a score of 19-0. Fitchburg has the ball, 4th down, and about a yard to go. The ball right on the midfield stripe. Tom?
Glennie quarterbacking the ball club. DePucco goes across, picks up the 1st down, but there's a flag on the play. Let's see what happens.
Indications are the penalty will be against Fitchburg. They're talking with Bobby Mativier of Leominster. It'll probably be an offside or a procedure penalty. Offside against Fitchburg. That will bring the ball back to about the 45-yard line. Apparently the officials are going to make a measurement first to see whether Fitchburg did pick up the 1st down. It appears that they did, and they did pick up the 1st down. So obviously Leominster will accept the penalty, moving the ball back to the 45-yard line. Warren, does it get this cold down in South Carolina?
Occasionally it gets this cold in the middle of February and at night, but not in the middle of middle of the day.
Of course, your blood must be pretty thin from all the time down there.
Well, I'm still trying to thaw out. They're giving me coffee up here, but I guess my inside's warm, but my hands and feet are still cold.
It's a 4th down and 5 for Fitchburg, and they're going to go for it.
Looking for that 1st down, they're going to go for it. Glennie rolls back, and he throws a little screen pass out there to Richie Boudreau. Boudreau across that line, still on his feet, down inside to about the 45-yard line, crossed the 40, driven out of bounds on about the 36.
As he went down, a Leominster man pounded lately on his head, and the official threw that flag. I think Fitchburg's going to get 15 more yards, Tom.
If they do, that'll move the ball down inside the 20-yard line.
It was a perfect call, Tom, because Leominster had the blitz on. They were shooting their linebackers through. But Glennie flipped that little screen pass to Richie, and it was good for the 1st down. And with the 15 additional yards on the personal foul, that brings the ball down to about the 21-yard line of Leominster. This is the 1st time that Fitchburg has threatened this morning.
Fitchburg has the ball on the 21-yard line of Leominster. Alan Glennie quarterbacks his ball club. They're in the I formation. The champ this time goes to Richie Boudreau, still on his feet, gets inside the 15-yard line down to about the 13, and Warren actually, he might have got a little more yardage, except one of his own men was in his way.
Well, it's good to have blockers in front of you, but you want them doing something instead of standing there. They're going to have to run a little harder and give that ball carrier a little more running distance.
This cheering section is fired up on this side of the field. Glennie this time. Ralphie Boudreau goes over the center of the line to the right side, and it looks as though he's got himself a 1st down on about the 8-yard line of Leominster, and he has. And for the first time this morning, with 5:51 showing on the clock in the 3rd period, Fitchburg High is threatening. The ball is on the 9-yard line of Leominster, 1st and goal. Alan Glennie starts the call. This time, pitches the ball outside to Richie Boudreau, and Richie goes in for the 1st Fitchburg score. Richie Boudreau scores for Fitchburg, and it's 19-6. Leominster in front of Fitchburg.
Richie Boudreau goes in from about 6 yards out to make it 19-6. Fitchburg trailing. And now we'll have the conversion attempt. Mike Pucko will attempt the kick.
Fake with the ball. Glennie throws downfield, and it's a incompleted pass. And so, as Fitchburg comes back up the field, they finally get on the scoreboard, and it's now 19-6, Leominster out in front of Fitchburg.
An individual's credit status is important, and a great way to keep things on an even keel is to have a substantial savings account. To get the savings habit, start a fully insured savings account today at the Claiborne Credit Union in Fitchburg. Savings are currently paying a whopping 5.25% compounded quarterly. The Claiborne Credit Union growing daily to serve you better, with brand new quarters coming soon on Fairmont Street. 5:37 left to go in the third quarter. 19-6, Leominster on top.
Dave, I was a little hesitant on that last one. After that touchdown, I had a mouthful of cut-up paper here, and I usually don't spit over the radio, but I did today. I hope I didn't offend anyone. Fitchburg High will be kicking off to Leominster High School now. Ball teed up on the 40-yard line. The kick is up and away. It's a short kick, and it's picked up now by Dave Antonucci at about the 39-yard line and is brought down quickly on the 40. In there for Fitchburg High to make the tackle at that point was Jerry LeBlanc. So it's a 1st and 10 for Leominster on their own 41-yard line, as their lead is now at 13 points as Fitchburg High finally gets on the scoreboard after a tough morning. And the cheering section on this side of the field, the Fitchburg side, is quite fired up. Mativia with the ball. He's got running room, spins away from one tackler, comes across the 45, and is driven about on the 49-yard line by Mike Tebow, the big 225-pound senior for Fitchburg High School. And we got a Fitchburg man out there that's injured, and it looks like Richie Pelletier, who is holding onto the side of his head. And Richie a bit shaken up on that last play. Again, Leominster's out of the huddle. The ball is at the 50-yard line. It's a 2nd down and a yard to go. Going back to pack, Mike Case looks downfield, and it's intercepted by Fitchburg. With the ball, Mike Pucko. He's at the 40, down to the 30, still on his feet on the far side of the field, and he's driven out on about the 23-yard line. Mike Pucko.
I thought there was going to be a little hassle over there, but referees broke it up.
And there is a hassle because there's a flag down on the field. The football is on the 24-yard line, and let's see what's going to happen on this one.
It's a clipping call against Fitchburg, Tom. And that's going to nullify part of that run back. They will mark 15 yards from the point of infraction, I believe. The infraction was about the 29-yard line, so that'll bring the ball back to the 43-yard line of Leominster.
The important fact, though, Dave, is Fitchburg will have that ball, and we'll have another chance to put some points on the board.
Right you are, Warren.
Mike Pucko jumped up there, pulled that pass down, and returned it to the far side of the field. It's a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg on the 43-yard line. Pitch out this time. Goes to Ralphie Boudreau, and he goes nowhere. There are at least 6 men in there to tackle him. Leading the forces for Leominster High was Eddie Latart. Also in there for Leominster High was Kenny Goss, and giving an assist to the 2 boys was Billy Bashaw.
Tough on the back, Tom, when you have to push your own lineman to make them block. That time he had a block in front of him, had to push him and knock the Leominster man over doing so.
2nd down now and 11 to go for Fitchburg. They lost a yard on that play. Glennie, the quarterback, rolls back. He's looking downfield. Throws a little swing pass out to Richie Boudreau. Richie across the 45, still on his feet to the 40, and finally is brought down on the far side of the field. And in there for Leominster to bring him down that time was big Donnie Tucker, but he moves that football down to the 39-yard line. A pickup on the play of roughly 7 yards.
A big 3rd down play.
3rd down for Fitchburg. The ball is on the 39-yard line of Leominster. It'll be a 3rd down and about 7 to go for Fitchburg. They're out of the huddle, and Fitchburg is fired up. They're trailing 19-6 in the 3rd period of play. A little jump pass to Nick Copley. He's over the center of the line, down inside the 30, and he's got himself a 1st and 10. Fitchburg High moving the football now against Leominster, and it looks like they've turned the tables somewhat on the 1st period. Listen to this. A Okay, Fitchburg has the ball. Glennie hands off this time to Pucko. Pucko tries to go over the center of the line and doesn't even get to the line of scrimmage. He's dumped in there and dumped hard by Johnny Fiandaca. So it'll be a 2nd down and 11 for Fitchburg on the 31-yard line of Leominster. They are firing up, Warren.
The momentum does seem to have changed at this point, Tom.
Randy Palmer, the big senior tri-captain for Fitchburg, the center. He's over the ball. Glennie sets himself. He rolls back. He's looking downfield. Uncorks the pass, and it's intercepted by Leominster. The ball grabbed by Donnie Tucker, who's been playing a great defensive game for Leominster, and he halts Fitchburg in their tracks, and it'll be a 1st and 10 for Leominster at their own 33-yard line. And
Tom, excuse me, that time it seemed like Fitchburg had a one-man pattern and he was double coverage. They've got to send another receiver out as an outlet in case that man is sitting out his coverage.
Again, as you mentioned, Donnie Tucker, who's been playing a great defensive game for Leominster High School, snags that one, and Leominster is on the move again. This time, Case hands the football off, and going to the left side for Leominster High School that time was Jimmy DePasquale. Picked up about 3 yards on the play. Let's give him 4. It'll be a 2nd down now and 6 for Leominster. The ball on the 31-yard line. 2 minutes and 53 seconds unofficially showing here in the 3rd period of play at Doyle Field in Leominster. The pitch outside to Mativier. He's got some running room. There he goes. He's at the 40, the 45, the 50, down to the 40, the 30, the 25, the 20, still on his feet at the 10, the 5, and he scores. A beautiful run by Mativier. A 70-yard gallop by Bobby Mativier puts Leominster on the scoreboard once again, and now it's 25-6. What do you think of that, Warren?
I'm very impressed, Tom. That was a beautiful run. There was some beautiful blocks thrown. I can't remember what players were thrown. It's not obvious from up here, but there were some key blocks thrown, which the coaches will see in the films, and they'll certainly praise those linemen, which deserve it.
What a run. A 70-yard gallop by Bobby Mativier, and it's 25-6, and Mativier will attempt that extra point. The snap from center, the kick is up, and it's good. Bobby Mativier gets himself 7 points, and now the score is 26-6. Leominster out in front of Fitchburg.
342-2776. A number to remember when you're in need of expert service relating to excavating and grading of all types. That's the number of Ray Moore Incorporated, Youngs Road in Lunenburg.
On the far side of the field, he's driven out of bounds there by Dave Dinsmore. So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg High School. The ball on the 34-yard line as Leominster High School is displaying some great offensive power here this morning at Doyle Field in Leominster. Out in front, 26-6 in Fitchburg. Glennie with the ball, rolls to the right, throws a little pass to Mike Pucko. He's across the 35, gets up to the 40, where he's driven out of bounds at that point. And then there for Leominster that time was Eddie Latart. Pucko is ridden out at the... Let's watch the official where he puts that ball. The nose of it right on the 40-yard line, where it'll be a 2nd down now. And about 4 yards to go for Fitchburg. They're out of the huddle. Glennie with the ball. This time hands it off to Richie Boudreau. Comes over the left-hand side to about the 44-yard line. And in there at that point to bring him down for Leominster High was Johnny Fiandaca. A pickup on the play of about 4 yards. The head linesman, Billy Huncher of West Acton. First down in, and he's got a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg at the 44-yard line, their own 44. Roughly 2:10 showing on the clock remaining.
About the Leominster fans yelling, "We're number one." They look like number one right now. How do they stand in the conference?
Actually, if they win this ball game today, they'll be the North Worcester County champs because they'll have knocked off Fitchburg. I believe they're number 2 in the North Worcester County standing. So if they knock this Fitchburg High School ball club off today, they'll be the North Worcester County champs. And that's a loud chant from across the way. We're number 1. On that last play, Pucko got to the line of scrimmage, picked up about a yard. A little jump pass, and it was almost intercepted. The ball that time was intended for Nick Copley, and in there for Leominster High that time, defending, was sophomore Eric Ledger, and he almost grabbed that pass away from him. So it'll be a 3rd down now, and still 9 yards to go for Fitchburg High. The ball resting on the 45-yard line. They're out of the huddle. Glennie rolls to the right. He's being chased. He's got to get rid of that football. Throws it down. He hits Hilario. Hilario at the 45-yard line. And his forward motion takes him down to about the 43. And it'll be enough for a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg High on the Leominster High School 43. And Glennie had to get rid of that football pretty quick.
He was under the fire, all right. That time, Glennie went back, he rolled to his right, and he had a crossing in, and he found him open over the middle. He picked out his receiver very well.
Glennie with the football again. Rolls to the left. He's looking downfield. Throws a little pass again to Pucko. He's at the 40. And is driven out of bounds at about the 35-yard line by Eric Ledger for a pickup on the play of about 8 yards.
They're dumping that little pass to the back, out of the backfield. He looks like he's coming out to lead on the blocking, and then he quickly runs upfield and gets open on that short pattern.
That play has been effective this morning for Fitchburg. 2nd down and 2. With the ball, Richie Boudreau. He's going to the right side. He's looking for running room. Still on his feet, and he's going all the way! Richie Boudreau found himself a hole, looked like he was trapped, and went all the way for Fitchburg and scores. So it's 26-12, Leominster out in front of Fitchburg. That one, I never would have suspected he was going to score on, would you?
Well, I was watching, I thought he was trapped. I looked down at my paper, and the next thing I knew he was in the end zone.
37 yards for Richie Boudreau. Fitchburg will now go for the conversion. Mike Pucko taking off his right shoe. He likes to kick that ball barefooted. And now they're moving the ball to the hash mark, so apparently it looks like Fitchburg will be going for the 2-point conversion.
Fitchburg looking for that 2-point conversion as Glennie rolls to the right, throws a pass in the end zone, and it's no good. 26-12, Fitchburg trailing Leominster as Fitchburg gets on the scoreboard once again. We've got about a minute showing on the clock prior to the end of this 3rd period of play. Dave?
In these busy days, we can ill afford time wasted while waiting for hot water. You'll have constant and instant hot water when you rent a Rude gas water heater from Fitchburg Gas and Electric. All you pay is $1.95 per month plus the low cost of the gas you use. No investment, no down payment, and no maintenance. And no waiting. Oceans of carefree hot water constantly when you rent a Rude gas water heater from Fitchburg Gas and Electric, 655 Main Street in Fitchburg. 26-12 is the score. Fitchburg trailing this Leominster High School fired up Blue Devils ball club. Fitchburg getting set to kick off to Leominster. Once again, here's John.
Okay, we're ready. Johnny Osborne doing the kicking for Fitchburg. And it was a little short kick done by Alan Glennie and taken and down on the 30-yard line by Leominster and Dave Antonucci, the 170-pound sophomore. So it's a 1st and 10 for Leominster at their own 31-yard line.
Fitchburg tried that onside kick twice in a row, but in order to be effective, they've got to get it on the ground. They're putting it up in the air and letting the Leominster men catch it in the air instead of making it difficult by putting it on the ground.
Warren Muir with us here in the broadcast booth today, giving us some expertise comment. DePasquale with the football, and he's got a wide open field. He's at the 40, and he's galloping like a horse at the 50, down to the 45, and driven out on the far side of the field by Alan Glennie. And boy, Jimmy DePasquale is a hard kid to stop as Leominster moves the ball down into Fitchburg High School territory, and they're placing it at the 42-yard line where it'll be a 1st and 10 for Leominster. Trying to get that momentum going and having some difficulty. 1st and 10 for Leominster. The pitch out this time to Mativia on that same scoring play of the last time. Gets away from one tackler, but he's finally pulled down by Dave Barraza, and he's having a little difficulty getting up, shaken up a little bit.
He almost was hit too late by 2 Fitchburg men. They really popped him as he hit the ground, and he seems to be okay now, but he was shaken up momentarily.
The ball's at the 36-yard line. It's a 2nd down now and 5 for Leominster. They're going to end the quarter right here. The clock has run out. So at the end of the 3rd period of play here at Doyle Field in Leominster, the score Leominster 26 and Fitchburg 12.
The Anwell Corporation monthly newspaper, the Magic Carpet News, just celebrated a birthday. 3 years ago, this informative newsy newsletter was born to keep employees informed about company activities and to give a voice to many talented correspondents throughout the plant. The latest edition is chock full of information about birthdays and anniversaries, bowling league standings, shopping trips, and latest mystery rides. Held on Saturday, November 8th. The Magic Carpet News, an important part of the relationship of the Adwell Corporation at 1 Oak Hill Road in Fitchburg. 3 quarters of play have been completed. 26-12, Leominster on top of Fitchburg. Leominster has the ball, second down, and about 5 yards to go. Tom?
The ball is on the Fitchburg 36-yard line as Leominster breaks from the huddle. They're in a normal T formation this time. Mike Case, the quarterback. This time, hands that ball off. Pasquale going over the left-hand side, moves across the 30 to about the 28-yard line, where he's dropped at that point by Alan Glennie and Mike Pucko. But it looks like he's got enough for that first down, and he has. First and 10, Leominster on the Fitchburg High School 28-yard line.
Well, if you've noticed, Tom, but that Leominster line is really firing out. They're getting off so quick on that snap. They're really taking Fitchburg by surprise.
Yes, they are, and moving into those holes very quickly. This time, hand to Mativia, who goes to the right-hand side, looking for running room. He's going to have trouble turning the corner, and he's dropped after he picks up about 2 yards on the far side of the field by Muck Pucko. Also over there, Alan Glennie. But he moves the ball to the 25, where it'll be a second down now, and about 7 for Leominster. 11 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this ball game at Doyle Field in Leominster on this Thanksgiving Day, 1969. Leominster is out of the huddle. Mike Case, the quarterback, again, hands off to Mativia. Mativia's got an open field. Drives all the way down inside to about the 14-yard line before he's dropped down in there. In there for Fitchburg was Mike Shattuck to bring him down. Also Alan Glennie, but he's got himself another first down, and it'll be a 1st and 10 for Leominster at the Fitchburg High School 12.
Mike Shattuck tried to tackle the ball on that one, Tom. He was trying to wrest that ball from the grasp of Mativia, but Mativia wasn't about to give it up.
Leominster's out of the huddle. Case this time to DePasquale, but DePasquale is stopped in his tracks by a group of red jerseys led by Johnny Whitney, so it'll be a second down and about 8 yards to go as he picked up 2 on the play.
Coaches want to get in the game. Look at them on the sidelines on there. They're actually on the field.
If they knew you were up here, they'd want to put a suit on you, too.
I want to be on Leominster side today.
Okay, Mike Case with the ball this time. The handoff goes to Tommy Case, and Tommy tried to go to the left side, picked up about a yard on the play, so it'll be a third down. The ball on the 9-yard line. 3rd and 8 for Leominster. Let's make it a short 8. Leominster been moving that ball very well, and Fitchburg High School takes time out, time in for Dave.
Howdy Beef Burger wishes all a very happy Thanksgiving. Howdy Beef Burger and the Williams brothers are pledged to serve the very finest foods at all times. With its drive-in and takeout service, Howdy's a favorite food center for families of Fitchburg, Leominster, and the area. Happy Thanksgiving to all from Howdy. 9 minutes, 39 seconds left to go in this ball game, and a lot of people have said this is the year of the upset, Ohio State and Princeton over Dartmouth. Well, unless something drastic happens here, it looks like Leominster over Fitchburg. Of course, we still have 9:39 left to go, and anything can happen, but Fitchburg has a long uphill battle if they're going to win this ball game.
Mike Case, quarterbacking the Leominster High School Ball Club, pitches out to Mativia. He's got running room, but he's driven out of bounds on about the 6-yard line. The official going to place it down on about the 4, and it's going to be close to that first down. Not quite enough, though, so it'll be a 4th down now for Leominster. The football is being placed midway between the 4 and 5-yard line, so it's a 4th down and a big play. What do you do in a case like this, Warren, when you're this close and you've only got a yard to go?
First, you'd have to stop the rush and hope they don't pass, Tom.
Mike Case sets himself. With the football, Mativia goes in for the score. Bobby Mativia makes it 33-12 as he goes in from the 4-yard line.
That was some fake to the first back going into the line. He took the whole Fitchburg defense with him, and then Matty bowled over.
Bobby Mativia has 20 points on the day now, so he's up to 120 on the season, and he truly is a great football player. Leominster 32, Fitchburg 12. And Mativia is going to try for the conversion attempt. The snap from center. The kick is up, and it's good. Bobby Mativia now has himself one of his finest days. Dave?
You'll like the yes men, Roger Moran and George Burke at Cleghorn Credit Union in Fitchburg. Stop by to see them soon and become a member and start enjoying the many financial services at Claiborne Credit Union of Fitchburg. With that touchdown by Bobby Mativier, some of the fans are heading for the exits. 33-12, and it doesn't look good at all for Fitchburg. They, unless they can come up with some quick touchdowns here, they are going to go back to Fitchburg with an 8-1 season. 33-12, 9:25 left to go in the ball game.
Conley has the ball teed up on the 40-yard line. He'll be kicking once again to Fitchburg, a familiar sight this morning. The kick is up. It bounces down inside. It's fumbled momentarily there by Donnie Freeberg. He picks it up. He's at the 30, the 35, jumps up in the air. And boy, that's a good way to get yourself creamed, isn't it, jumping up in the air like that?
Well, that time he jumped up in the air and met 3 Leominster tacklers, and it sure is.
First and 10 for Fitchburg on the 40.5-yard line as they break from the huddle, and Fitchburg High looks like a tired ball club right now. Glennie bobbled that ball momentarily. He's back on the 25-yard line, and if he don't get rid of that football, he's in trouble. And it's an incompleted forward pass, and there's a roar from across the way, and the Leominster fans think it should have been called for intentional grounding, and they're booing.
That's hard to call, Tom. If there's any kind of alignment around, the quarterback supposedly can misinterpret him for a back, and therefore the penalty's not given in a lot of cases.
Ralphie Boudreau is a flanker to the right-hand side. Again, Glennie rolls back to pass, throws downfield, and it was intended that time for Mike Pucko, and it's broken up in there. Breaking that pass play up for Leominster High was senior Jimmy Buckley, doing a great job. It'll be a third down now and 10 for Fitchburg. The ball at the 40.5-yard line. 9 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in this ball game. Fitchburg trailing 33-12 as Leominster has played some great football here at Doyle Field this morning. Glennie pitches back this time to Richie Boudreau, throws a pass out to Glennie, and it's in and out of the hands of a Leominster defender on the far side of the field, Eric Ledger. And this Ledger kid is only a sophomore, Warren, and he's been everywhere this morning.
He's doing a good job out there. We had that same play. I remember throwing it to Ricky Lato. We threw it. It was complete. I don't know if Leominster's been watching their old films, but they had that one covered pretty well.
Do they have reruns?
Randy Palmer standing back on the 30-yard line, gets the boot away. It's a good high boot. It's taken down there by Mike Antonucci. Mike hands the ball off to Jimmy Giordoni, who tries to go from his left to his right, and he's brought down back there on about the 19-yard line. And in there for Fitchburg High that time was Don LeBlanc. So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Leominster, the ball on their 19-yard line. And you can see why people said you can't tell about this Fitchburg-Leominster game. This Leominster High ball club certainly has come on strong during the season. Case this time, handoff this time. The ball goes to Eddie Latarte, who's in there at a halfback slot. There's a flag down on the play as Latarte moves the ball out to about the 24-yard line. The penalty is going to be called against Fitchburg High School. Big Roger LaRoche was in there to make the tackle. Offside against Fitchburg. The ball now is on the 24-yard line. It'll be a 1st and 5 for Leominster. Mike Case quarterbacking the ball club. Again, hands off this time to Tommy Case. Tommy picked up a yard on the play before he was dropped, and big Roger LaRoche and Johnny Whitney were in there. I'd hate to get hit by a combine of them two. One weighs 190 and the other weighs 250. 2nd down and 4. Handoff once again with the ball, and he's got running room as Eddie Latarte, and he picks up the 1st down at the 35-yard line for Leominster.
That time, Tom, it seemed like Fitchburg had a stunt into the wide side of the field, and Leominster went to the weak side, and I think they caught him stunting away from the play.
1st and 10, Leominster. Big Steve Mahoney, who was a doubtful starter, who had an injury, is in there at center. Handoff this time with the ball. Tommy Case tries to go to the right side, does. Picks up about 4 yards on the play, so it'll be a 2nd down now and 6 for Leominster. Make it a long 6. With the ball this time, running. De Pasquale comes across the 40 to the 45 before he stopped at the 50-yard line. And in there for Fitchburg High to stop him at that point was Richie Pelletier.
Every time this boy carries the ball, De Pasquale, he seems to determination written in his eyes, all over his face, and the way he runs. Boy, he's a hard runner.
He gallops like a horse, and you can see him
Just give that horse a rest right now.
a well-earned rest. Mike Case still in there quarterbacking this Leominster ball club. This time he hands it off to Letarte. Letarte tries to sweep around his own right side, picks up about 2 yards on the play, and it'll be a second down for Leominster at their own 48-yard line, 2nd and 8. A determined Leominster High ball club here at Doyle Field today. A great team effort for them. And they're going to walk away with the prize turkey today. There's no doubt about that at this point. We still have 6:25 remaining. Okay, coming to this side with the ball, Jimmy Giadoni, and he lost about 5 yards on the play.
Conflicting penalties, I'm sure. I think Leominster was offside. It'll conflict this penalty. I think Fitchburg was piling on. We're shifting back at 2nd and 8, I guess, Tom.
Leominster offside, and Fitchburg kind of piling it on down there as Giadoni lost about 5 yards for Leominster on that play. Personal foul against Fitchburg and offside against Leominster, offsetting penalty, so it'll be a 2nd down and 8. They're out of the huddle. Case this time hands that ball off to Eddie Letarte on a draw play. Gets the ball to about the 45, where it'll be a 3rd down now for Leominster, and about 6.
Try to drag 250 pounds with you, Tom. It's a pretty hard task, but he struggled with Roger LaRoche on his back for 2 extra yards on that play.
Case with the ball, rolls back, looking downfield. Open all the way is Jimmy Giadoni, and Jimmy goes in for the Leominster score, 39-12. As Jimmy Giadoni, on a 45-yard pass play, goes in for another Leominster score.
No doubt about it on that one. Leominster had the zone flooded with receivers. They had 4 men out, and just weren't enough Fitchburg defenders to cover them all. And Jimmy Giadoni snared it in and took it into the end zone.
It was a matter of who was more open. Leominster also had a receiver wide open further down the field.
They're going for the kick for the conversion.
Bobby Mattivio gets the kick up, and it's good. So it's 40-12 now, as Leominster is out in front of Fitchburg.
With 5:36 left to go in the ball game, Leominster, let alone leading, but leading by 28 points, 40-12. And this Leominster ball club came out on the field here to play football, and that is exactly what they've done, and have completely dominated this ball game. And no doubt about it, they deserve the victory. That touchdown sends some more fans out the gates here at Doyle Field. The crowd, still a real good crowd on hand, but many of them realizing that this game is all over. The only thing yet to be determined is the final score.
One of the most grinding defeats of the year for the Red and Gray. They haven't been defeated this year, and to come up to Thanksgiving and lose it, you've got to give a lot of credit to this Leominster High School ball club. Okay, taken by Ralphie Boudreau, the kick at the 30. He's up to the 34-yard line, and he's ridden out of bounds on about the 34. And in there for Leominster High School at that point to drive him out was Tommy Case. So it's a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg. They don't look like the fired-up ball club or the ball club they've looked like all year. They have been behind from the very beginning of this game, and Leominster High is chanting, "We're number 1," and boy, they have the right to do so. Glennie with the football, rolls to the left-hand side, throws a little pass out there to Mike Puckle. Along the sidelines he goes, and he's ridden out on about the 39-yard line. And in there for Leominster again, Eddie Letarte defending. 5 minutes and 24 seconds remaining in this ball game as
Puckle is injured.
And he seems to be in great pain right now.
He certainly does. He's down there on all fours on about the 40-yard line, 35-yard line, and the doctors are out there and working him over. So apparently he is in quite a bit of pain. 5:24 left to go in the ball game. 40-12. Leominster on top of the Red Raiders of Fitchburg.
Dave, that's the second Fitchburg High player that's going to have to be taken over to Leominster Hospital for treatment. Bruce Birch in the first half suffered an arm injury, and now Mike Puckle is going up there for some treatment for something that happened to him. Glenny, the quarterback. He rolls to the right-hand side, his plays back in, and he hits Ralphie Boudreau on about the 48-yard line, and he goes out of bounds. And it's enough for a first down for Fitchburg at their own 47-yard line. The official placing the ball midway between the 47 and 48. You want to split hairs here. It's 40-12 as Leominster's out in front. A jump pass over the center to Nick Copley, completed down to the Leominster 38-yard line. In there for Leominster to bring him down that time was Bobby Mativier. So that's another first down for Fitchburg at the 38-yard line of Leominster with 5 minutes remaining in this ball game. Glenny with the ball, rolls to his left. Looking downfield, he's got all the time in the world, throws a long pass way down. It was intended that time for Ralph Valerio, and the estimated crowd here is 10,600 according to George Peck, the faculty manager at Leominster High, and we'd like to thank Mr. Peck for providing us these facilities here today, and thank all the people in Leominster for a fine reception that we've received over the season from their athletic department and their school official. 4:55 remaining in this ball game. Glenny, the quarterback, sets himself. Ralph Boudreau is the flanker. Looking downfield, a pass. Throws the ball. Intended that time for Ralphie Boudreau, and there was a little double teaming going on there as Bobby Mativier was in there. Donnie Tucker. And this Tucker has been everywhere this morning, hasn't he, Warren?
Certainly has. He's been all over the field. That time, Leominster had 6 men back to cover the passes, and Fitchburg only had 2 men out on the pattern, and it seemed like they had 3 on each one of them.
3rd down and 10 for Fitchburg. Glenny this time. The handoff goes to Gary LeBlanc. Tries to go over the right side, and then there for Leominster to pull him down was Jimmy Buckley, the 150-pound senior linebacker. It's at the 38-yard line, and it's a 4th down for Fitchburg. Coming into the ball game is Gary Aho, and coming out of there is Tommy Bean. 4th and 10 for Fitchburg at the Leominster 38-yard line. Glenny rolls back in the pocket, throws a little pass to Richie Boudreau. He's at the 40 and driven out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. It's not enough for that first down, and we got a Leominster player who jumps up and is slightly injured. Jimmy Buckley, who's played a great defensive game, and he's going off to the side of the field. So Leominster takes over now, 1st and 10 on their own 34-yard line.
Good block on that play thrown by Frank Masnick of the Worcester Telegram, who took out a couple of linemen.
Frank dipped his shoulder that time and really walloped him. Everybody's getting into the game. What happened to that Irish center that ran into the end zone? 1st and 10 for Leominster. The ball is at the 34-yard line, and there goes Mike Case off to the sidelines, getting a well-deserved hand from the Leominster High School cheering section. In there at quarterback now is Richie Masciarelli. There's a fumble there in the Leominster backfield, but they recovered their own fumble. Mativier pounced on that ball at the 34-yard line, so he picked up about a yard on the play, so it'll be a 2nd down now and 9 for Leominster. And Mativier is now going off as we have the 4-minute warning being given to both benches. 4 minutes remaining in this ball game with Leominster out in front of Fitchburg by a score of 40-12. Again with the ball, Letarte. He gets away from about 5 Fitchburg tacklers, moves across the 40 to about the 45-yard line, and he just didn't want to go down that time. He's got himself a 1st and 10. At the 44-yard line, Ralphie Boudreau made the tackle that time. 3.5 minutes remaining in this ball game, and the fans still streaming out on a very cold Thanksgiving morning.
It was 6 years ago today, Tom, that Fitchburg won 20-0, and Warren scored all 20 points in that ball game.
Masciarelli, the quarterback, this time hands the ball off to Tommy Case. Tommy goes to the left, picks up about 2 yards on the play. Going to mark that ball at the 48-yard line, and it's a 2nd down now for Leominster and about 6 yards to go. A great team effort. A tribute to Huck Hannigan and his assistant coaches for the fine work they've done here with this Leominster High School ball club. Masciarelli, the quarterback. In the normal T formation, the handoff this time with the football is Jimmy DePasquale. Gets up to about the 49-yard line, where it will be a 3rd down now and about 5. And if you look at the Leominster High School backfield, there are quite a few ball players in that backfield that'll be back here again next year. Mike Case is only a junior. Leominster was offside that time. It appeared that way as Eddie Letarte took that football and tried to go to the right-hand side. Many of the fans here giving their hellos to Warren, who hasn't seen a Thanksgiving game since he played against Leominster back in 1965. Let's see if we can pick that chant up. Yes, you are, number one. There's no doubt about that. 40-12, 1:56 remaining in this ball game as Leominster is out in front of Fitchburg. 1:56 showing on the clock. 4th down and 5 for Leominster. The ball is at the 49-yard line of Fitchburg. Fraterelli doing the kicking. Gets a good boot away. Taken down there on the 9-yard line by Richie Boudreau. Tries to get away from one tackler. Manages to get down inside to about the 15-yard line, but there's a flag down on the play. And Fitchburg High takes possession of that football on their own 15-yard line.
Penalty against Fitchburg, I believe. Warren, did you pick that up?
I'm not sure what it was. I know one of the referees was indicating like someone threw an elbow at someone. It might be unnecessary roughness. I'm not sure, though.
At any rate, it's a personal foul against Fitchburg, and it brings the ball back to the 11-yard line.
Alan Glennie with the football, rolling back, looking downfield, trying to get rid of that football, being rushed. He's going to have to hold on to it. Finally, he throws that long bomb. Nick Copley is way downfield, and that, my friend, was about a 60-yard pass, and a flag has been thrown, and an interference call has been called against Leominster. Glennie threw that football about 60 yards to Nick Copley, and an interference call gives Fitchburg the ball down on the 37-yard line of Leominster. But it's all for naught, as there's a minute and a half remaining in this ball game. Leominster 40 and Fitchburg 12.
We've got a minute 35 left to go in the ball game. 1st and 10 for Fitchburg on the 36-yard line.
Glennie fumbles that football in the backfield, picks it up, regains his composure, throws a long pass downfield. Nick Copley is there, and one more step and he would have had it at about the 4.
One more step and he would have been out of bounds, Tom, I believe. It was down in the corner, but it just goes as an incompletion, and it's 2nd down and 10.
2nd and 10. The ball at the Leominster High School 38-yard line. Fitchburg High has the ball. And the fans still holding on, the majority of them that have seats. The end zones have cleared out considerably. Fitchburg is out of the huddle. Glennie gets the ball. Throws a little swing pass out on the right to Hilario. Hilario down the sideline to about the 30 and is driven out on about the 27-yard line. Over there to drive him out on the 27 for Leominster was Jimmy Giadoni, so it'll be a 1st and 10 for Fitchburg. A dejected-looking Fitchburg High Ball Club down there after going the full route without a loss and coming on to Thanksgiving losing to Leominster High School. Pass on the sideline this time is complete to Gary LeBlanc at about the 20-yard line. The official going to mark that ball at the 21, where it will be a 2nd down and about 4 for Fitchburg. Glennie back to pass again. Throws a little pass this time to Richie Boudreau. He's at the 10, still on his feet, gets away from one tackler, and he goes in for the score. Richie Boudreau, with less than a minute, takes a pass from Alan Glennie and goes in for the score. So it's 40-18 now as Richie Boudreau takes a pass from Glennie, and Fitchburg gets on the scoreboard once again.
Fitchburg, of course, will go for the 2-point conversion.
They're out of the huddle. Glennie begins to count. Rolls to the right-hand side, throws a pass down intended for Ralphie Boudreau, and it's incomplete. And so Fitchburg will kick to Leominster, and the score is 40-18.
Thousands of fans still on hand, although a considerable number of them have left Doyle Field, attempting to get a head start on the traffic as they head home. And for the Fitchburg fans, it's going to be a long trip home. Not long in mileage, but they are certainly going to be a disappointed group because Fitchburg came into the ball game defeated and had to be considered favorites in this ball game, but Leominster was not to be denied, and they came out here to play football, and as we've mentioned so many times, that's exactly what they did, and they lead 40-18 with 42 seconds left to go. It's been the year of the upset, Warren, and this certainly proves it here this afternoon.
Okay, Richie Pelletier will be doing the kicking for Fitchburg as they kick off to Leominster High School. The kick is to Stevie Richard with the football. still on his feet. There's a fumble out there as we try to pick up the number of the young man who had that football for Leominster, one of their younger ball players. Everett Treadwell was the ball carrier. He fumbled it, but it was recovered by Steve Mahoney. So Leominster has it 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line with about a half a minute showing on the clock. Huck Hannigan, his ball players jubilant on the far side of the field as they have come up with perhaps their biggest victory of the year, upsetting Fitchburg 40-18. Flags all over the field as Leominster High just trying to run that clock out now with the football for Leominster that time. Richie Masciarelli, the quarterback, and the penalty is going to be called against Fitchburg as Masciarelli is out there talking to the official. Fitchburg had 12 men on the field that time. Some of the fans still sticking around to the bitter end, and as the day wears on, it gets cloudier and colder, to say the least. Masciarelli is quarterbacking this Leominster High School ball club here in the closing seconds of the game, and this time he hands the football off, taking it up to about the 40-yard line for Leominster High. That time was Jimmy DePasquale. So now it's a 2nd down and 5, and they're counting off the final 10 seconds as Steve Mahoney comes out over the football for Leominster. And that's the end of the ball game as Leominster High School upsets Fitchburg 40-18.